Hi, everyone. I'm Jess, and I'm the content manager here at Course Report. Course Report is the resource for helping people find the right coding boot camps for them. You can use the Course Report website to research the best coding boot camps all over the world, as well as insights on which coding languages to learn, where to apply, and so much more. So today I'm speaking with a bootcamp alum from General Assembly. One of the trademarks of any immersive coding bootcamp is that students build a final project. And Justin, who is here with us today, actually worked on a cross-functional project for the Opportunity Project, which was a collaboration with the US Census Bureau. So cool. So Justin is going to walk us through that final project, but first let me introduce them. Justin Hedrick recently graduated from the online software engineering immersive bootcamp offered at General Assembly, which he completed from his home in Seattle, Washington. Justin also just landed a junior software engineer position at Smart Charts. Justin, thank you so much for speaking with me today. So what inspired you to launch a career in software engineering this year?
Yeah, so first off, thanks for having me, Jess. I personally use course reports in my research, so it's a pleasure. Uh, the journey kind of started, 10 years ago, even before that with the MySpace days, right? Like I think a lot of us started early teens, simple HTML, CSS, things like that, and just over time, I found myself kind of going back to that coding background and just developing over time. And I have a brother who is a software engineer, who kind of pushed me and helped me understand simple concepts at a young age. And previous to my current role, I was in the lithium ion world doing research, and I did a little bit of software engineering, like very basic data stuff. And COVID hit. I realized, this is the perfect time to make the leap. Something that I want to do for a long time, and decided to jump in and chose General Assembly.
Yeah, and along those lines, I mean, there are so many coding boot camps out there, and there are so many online coding boot camps. So I'd love to know what set General Assembly apart from all the rest.
The biggest thing I wanted to find was the reputation, right? Like I wanted to join a boot camp that had a solid history for not only just teaching good fundamentals, but also job placement, because that's why we do a boot camp. And so yeah, that was the first thing that I needed to feel confident in. And talking with the recruiters at General Assembly, they made me feel the best going forward. So that's why I chose General Assembly.
And overall, what did you learn in General Assembly's software engineering immersive boot camp?
The best thing they taught, I thought, was just how to think like a programmer. I mean, there's infinite amount of different tools, and in the software engineering world, you can always be learning. So it's hard to create a software engineer from scratch. So they just taught us how to think like a software engineer from day one, and just built upon that.
Since this was an online boot camp, did you feel connected to your cohort and your instructors?
That was the best part. I made lifelong friends. We have Discord channels and things like that that we still to this day talk in. Yeah, some of the best friends I've made, just because you kind of go through the Sufferfest together in the best of ways, and you really bond over that experience.
In general, did you end up doing a lot of projects while you were at General Assembly?
We did four total as far as portfolio projects, but we always found ourselves tinkering and building a side project to better understand the fundamentals of whatever unit we were in.
All right, let's have you share your screen and walk us
Mhm.
through your project. So, Justin, tell us a little bit about the Opportunity Project. It just sounds like such an interesting data initiative.
Yeah, it was really exciting to be a part of. It's always nice to just be surrounded by people that are so devoted and passionate about what they do. And that was the top project in U.S. Census Bureau. But the project in itself, I graduated and was looking to dive into an internship. And Becca Rogers, I believe she just got a promotion. So congrats, Becca. Um, but she put out that they were partnering with the U.S. Census Bureau and the Top Opportunity Project to get a team together, or three teams together, of recent GA graduates. And it was open to application for over, I think, 2,000 graduates. And it was a fantastic opportunity. So I tossed my name in there. And I was fortunate enough to get the lead engineer position for my team. It was, I think, on my team total was about 15. So it was a team of data scientists, a team of UX UI designers and the software engineering team, and we had one project manager. So yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. So for the Opportunity Project, what did you end up building?
So we tackle our goal was to try to tackle the environmental remediation sector in the infrastructure bill, the newly signed at the time infrastructure bill, and we had a subset of grants that we really needed to hone in on. And we worked with the UI UX team to develop the best tool that we could think of creating, and it was a pretty tedious process. And the UI UX designers kind of honed in, talked to advocates and users on what the best tool to create. And so we ultimately decided to go with a web app that would help tackle and introduce new grant opportunities to those applicants, as well as offer a service to volunteer groups who had experience working in these grants, either applying or receiving or handing out grants to sign up, as well as mentors. And we provided a live chat service for those volunteers to then connect with new users applying for the first time, and just give them as many tools as they could to best serve their communities.
Wow, that sounds like so much functionality like built into this. So you mentioned that this team cross-functional people from kind of all different tech fields in there. Did you have any experience kind of doing this before just through the GA bootcamp?
In a way, nothing prepared me for it, honestly, which was great. That's what I wanted. I wanted that production environment, that feel uncomfortable and have to learn a bunch in a quick amount of time. And we decided to, yeah, cram as much functionality as we could. And that came, our advisors, were a little nervous about whether we'd get it done, but it pushed us. And I think we ultimately, gave a really good proof of concept.
So how much time were you given to complete this whole thing?
I, it was about 5 weeks that it actually got extended to 6 because we showed so much initiative. All the teams. It was 3 teams. All of us showed so much passion and initiative. And I know that they said we only had to, the requirement or the expectation was 15 hours a week, but I don't know a single person who didn't put more than 40 in.
So I'd love to have you walk us through the actual project.
Whenever a user comes to Grant Guide, this is what they're first going to see. I thought the UI team did an amazing job just giving us a nice skeleton as far as design. I love the color scheme. It's really easy to use. So you just come in. We have some simple tools to kind of help you around. Some links at the bottom that gives you more direct access to grant.gov and things like that. So yeah, as a new user, we implore you to log in just to get full access. So we'll go ahead and log in, and we built this from scratch. We used JSON Web Tokens for the sign-in. We didn't, we wanted to do Google Auth, but we just decided to use what we knew best. And this is something that we learned at GA. I think this is week 3 that we learned about JSON Web Tokens and how to authenticate on the back end. Go ahead and log in. We wanted to provide new users the ability to search grants, and not only search grants, but save them to their own user profile so they can, track whatever updates needed for the grant application process. So we'll go ahead and find a grant. And this was really cool. Our software engineer by the name of Roger Davia really knocked this out of the park. He actually joined us late. He had some time, freed up time in his schedule, and we were like, "Please, Roger, come help as much as you can." And Roger helped build a fuzzy search, so we all mistype as you do on the internet. And so let's say I slightly mistype something, it's still going to bring us up the most accurate grants that are available. And all these are pulling from public resources that were given to us by the U.S. Census Bureau. And the top project that was part of the project was, hey, we have these tools. See what you can do with them. And so all of it was kind of a lot of improv along the way, kind of agile development, like what do we have? Okay, how can we incorporate that and so forth. So, again, all these things work and it's very dynamic, loads very quickly, which is really nice for the user. So let's say we want to, look into ecological management questions, right? This is a grant, pulls up all the information that you would need to better apply for such a grant. And this it gives you a closing date as accurate as possible. Obviously, this one isn't a good one because it's 2014, but gives you funding amount, who the agency that's actually providing the grant, some codes that are very unique to a user coming in. They would understand these things. And if you want to save, simple saved. So after you save your grant, that's available for you to view later on to keep track. And again, our biggest focus with this, with such a short time span, was to just provide a proof of concept that, like, hey, we can do this in this short amount of time. Give us more time, we can build out an even more advanced tool. The next bit of functionality we wanted to build was a live chat service. So that would be with any future mentor that you would find in the guide process, right? So you want to connect with Mike, you can start a chat. And then this was built on using WebSockets. This is my personal project in the internship. I had never built a live chat service. So it took a lot of digging and finding out more and more about WebSockets and how those work on the front end and back end. And this just provides a new grant applicant the ability to reach out to someone, because it's such a confusing process. And it's hard to find people to actually, help. And so the idea was that, again, volunteers could sign up as a grant guide, provide, their experience, their background, and best link with new users. So this is the code for grant guide. This was shared through GitHub. I personally managed the GitHub, so like anytime someone would need to push code or pull code or commit code, we had a workflow that actually GA taught us, and it is what we use to this day. I use it at my job currently. They nailed it, for lack of better words. It's the easiest way to actually manage, an ongoing software project. So if you join GA, you'll learn all about that. But this is just to show, like, again, what we used and what we were taught in GA was this JSON web token sign-in. It authenticates, a unique user anytime someone logs in. And then if they continue to be a user, it will find that token, authorize them as that user, and go forward. And it might just look like gibberish right now, but I promise at GA you will learn what all of this means. I won't bore you with the details. And this is the actual chat mechanism on the front end. This is using, again, WebSockets. This is like how I'm routing on the client side. When a new message is sent, who it should be sent to, saving it to the database, and persisting through state. And then here's the server side code. This is like the business logic of the whole app. And then again, this is here. All of this is the actual JSON or socket.io and WebSocket logic here. This again was not taught at GA. Well, I take that back. We had a day where we were kind of given a run over, but the best part about GA going forward after I graduated was I was given the ability to learn, to actually know what to look for, when to look for it, how to look for it, and like how to, decipher and solve bugs. And then we chose to use what's called the MERN stack. So that's MongoDB Express for our server-side logic, React for our front end, and Node. This is, I think, the most marketable stack currently, and so that's what GA teaches, and it got me hired. So there you go. So here's all of our React. This is, again, like the more of the front end type logic, and yeah, it's quite extensive.
So Justin, what do you feel like the biggest challenge was in getting together this project?
Where to begin, honestly, because all of us are fresh graduates. We don't know kind of the workflow of a production environment, and so that was definitely the hardest bit. And we kind of just all decided we're just going to kind of figure it out as we go, which was great. That was definitely the hardest bit. Outside of that, like, everyone on the team, did their part. Everyone was very communicative. I felt very fortunate in the team I was on, just because everyone stepped up and was ready to tackle the problems that we had. And, every week that problem was different. So yeah, definitely just getting started. Where do we go from here? That was tough.
And when you did get stuck, were you able to like reach back out to GA instructors or TAs to help you through?
Informally, I would say they're busy, right? Becca was wonderful. But they kind of, and for good reason. I'm glad they did it. We were left to kind of figure out on our own, which was wonderful. As far as like the nitty gritty code side of things, logistics and communication with top and the U.S. Census Bureau, they were wonderful. They're wonderful advocates. But as far as like the technical side of things, yeah, we had to figure it out on our own, which I loved.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, since this project is through the Census Bureau. Like, did you work with a team there as well?
We met once every 2 weeks. We would have like a big meet and greet with the whole team. And then we had a few advocates from the US Census Bureau that were kind of mentors for us, that we could reach out with questions regarding the environmental remediation aspect. And now that I'm thinking about it, we did actually, GA provided us two mentors, former GA grads, to reach out to for technical problems. So my mistake. They did provide two mentors that were wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Any real technical questions, we could go to them. They did have their own job, so I understood they couldn't actually, code with us, but they were wonderful. Like, 30, 45-minute meetings, pop in. We had a list of questions, which was great to set up for, professional development, because that's how it works in the professional world. Like, you can't just, be like, how do I do this? No, you need to like try to solve the problem yourself, get a list of questions that pertain to your problem that are specific, and then, meet 30, 45 minutes, then off you go to solve the problem.
Were you able to do some kind of demo day with this project, like showcase it to either GA or the Census Bureau?
Yeah, so it was all building up to we had two demo days that were, I think the first demo day was open invite. I think over like 200 people were there. It was kind of mind-boggling. I think it was the largest they had had, because G has done this internship a few times. I think it was the largest they had had at that moment, and you could definitely feel the pressure, but it was great. And then we had a more, because the whole internship is built around like a almost like a long-term hackathon where we weren't GA wasn't the only group involved. It was actual professional software engineers. I think it was like 8 or 9 teams that were involved in this project, and they had 12 weeks, whereas we only had 6 or 5 or 6. So we kind of, in a way, competed, though it didn't feel like a competition. But we were competing to win kind of this hackathon through the U.S. Census Bureau. So ultimately, it all culminated to that. And actually, with Grant Guide, that project now has taken the next steps, with some of the members from the original team. They're actually seeking funding now, and so they're continuing development, which is really exciting.
Justin, you recently landed your first software engineering job. Congrats.
Thank you.
Overall, how did GA prepare you for the tech job hunt?
They provided every resource for us to take advantage of. Ultimately, it is on the individual. They're not going to find a job for you, but they're going to do everything but. My career coach, Kathleen Salt, has been amazing. Some days I just need a therapist. Some days I need, a pep talk, and she's always there. We meet once a week, formally, with anybody who's open to from the graduating class. And that's just mostly a check-in, make sure we're doing the right things, talking to the right people. And we were given, direction. But ultimately, it's very free form how you find a job in today's world. So any advice that we needed, Catherine was always there.
And when you were interviewing for Smart Charts, where you work now, did you end up talking about this Census Bureau project?
I believe it's the reason why I got interviews, honestly. And I've told anybody I can at GA, as a new graduate, whether it's GA or anywhere else. So you choose, find an internship as soon as you can to get that professional experience, because I think that is the reason why I then because I saw a significant uptick in like even getting an email back about setting up an interview after I finished the internship.
That's so awesome. And was Smart Charts interested in your General Assembly bootcamp experience?
Absolutely. I think bootcamp graduates are unique because we show that we are able to take 3 months out of our lives to dedicate to a new career. And it's not like in college you go and you kind of, you feel, some people know, but you feel out kind of what you want your future to be. You don't really, with bootcamp grads, we decided this is what we're going to do, and we're going to put ourselves through 3 months of no life, and make it happen. And so I think that experience, and we learn quickly. So that experience is really, really valuable in the job market.
Thinking of incoming General Assembly students, Do you have any advice for them on making the most of the online bootcamp experience? Like anything you wish you had known before day one?
You have to have the mindset that you will make this happen. You have to come in. There's no other options. It is very hard, but everyone knows that. But it was much harder than I expected, in the best of ways. It challenges you not only in an education format, but it challenges you as a person. Like you're gonna question whether this was the right decision. You have to ultimately decide for yourself that it is, and you're going to make it happen. Outside of that, you will figure it out because it's just learning and time in front of the computer and kind of just figuring it out.
At this point in your tech career, it's fairly new tech career, but I still like to ask this question. Was General Assembly worth it for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. The the value the cost of admission, the value I got out of it, uh, it's hard to put into words. The experience was worth every penny and every hour put into it. Absolutely.
Well, that's a great place to wrap up this project spotlight. It was so awesome to see what you were able to build in just a few weeks with your team, Justin. Thanks so much for walking us through that project and best of luck in your new tech career. So we will be posting a recording and a transcript of this video interview on the Course Report blog with contact information for General Assembly, just in case you're interested in applying for one of their upcoming cohorts. And by the way, they also have some awesome new scholarships on the Course Report website, so definitely check out those. And thanks so much to all of you for watching. Tweet at us, email us, and let us know which topic you'd like us to cover next on the Course Report blog. In the meantime, follow Course Report on Facebook and Twitter. And if you're a bootcamp alumni, don't forget to post a review of your own bootcamp experience on Course Report. Your review is a huge help to anyone thinking of getting into tech today.